Welcome to MCSE TV. Now guys, I am on with my dad today. Basically, I put a post out on Instagram the other night asking you guys if you wanted to see me and dad discussing the season so far and if Chelsea will finish in the top 4. You guys voted for yes and the majority won. There was hardly anyone that voted no, everyone said yes. So here you go. But guys, me and dad have filmed together before. Last time was one day after sixth form. Yeah, and I'll show you a few snippets of what happened last time. Yeah, it was quite funny. But yeah, I like to think I've matured since sixth form anyways, but I'll show you guys now.
What's he going to change? Why don't the players just stand up and admit that they're to blame for a lot of this?
So guys, before talking about if we think Chelsea are going to finish in the top 4 or not, we'll talk about this season so far. So from August, our first game of the season, which was Huddersfield away, right up until this point, well, our last game. And so what's your thoughts, Dad?
Yeah, when we started back against Huddersfield in August, we were all a bit unsure, I think, of how the season was going to pan out. Chelsea obviously got off to a good start and everything was going well. Everyone started getting behind the manager. And we went 10-12 games unbeaten. But I think we've come to that point of the season now where things are starting to... well, they're not going wrong, but they're getting a few bad results. And I think that now the team's got to galvanise and move forward. And really now, realistically, they've got the cup coming up against Spurs on Tuesday. We won obviously against Notts Forest yesterday, and then we're top 4. Well, that's another question really. We've thrown some stupid results away. Obviously we got beaten by Wolves, and then there was the Leicester game, and then, you know, it just hasn't been consistent enough. And then it all starts again now. How long's the manager going to last, and which players stay and which players go in? It's just Chelsea all over at the moment again. But as a supporter, as always, we just got to back our team and just see where we go from here, really.
Yeah, basically what Dad said, because my points are quite similar, obviously. But yeah, like, we obviously went unbeaten, and then obviously we lost against Tottenham away. Now, I suppose any other season I would have probably accepted that as a Chelsea fan, because obviously Tottenham are our London rivals, a really good side. But I suppose this season it was quite hard to handle and take because we were unbeaten. We wanted to keep that streak going for as long as possible, and then when Spurs beat us, it was a bit of a kick in the teeth because number one, they're our London rivals, and we never want to get beaten against Spurs, and obviously the league rankings were frustrating as well because Tottenham are so near us, as we know, and I felt as though that really did knock our confidence getting beaten 3-1 against them, because obviously then we moved on to Wolves. I always knew Wolves away was going to be a difficult fixture, but being there in the crowd, like, the frustrations were massive and it was such an intense game. And when Wolves beat us, I was gobsmacked. Don't get me wrong, Wolves have been doing excellent this season, but again, like, to get beaten by Wolves away, like, that should be a game that us should be ticking off, especially when we were unbeaten for so long. We should have easily got 3 points out of that because the standard of football we were playing before then wasn't too bad. And then to make things even more frustrating after Wolves, we obviously beat City, and that was amazing. We were all made up with that. But the one frustrating thing about that is we can beat City, but we can't beat games and teams such as Wolves. We couldn't beat Tottenham, but we could beat Manchester City that were looking like they were going to win the title at that point. So it was a kick in the teeth. And then we made a silly mistake after Man City. I thought that was a turning point for us again. I thought after the results against Tottenham and Wolves, we found our feet again. We're playing Leicester, we'll be able to smash it out because we've beaten City. I thought that was a good confidence boost for the boys, but then we obviously lost against Leicester. And as of the moment, some people would say, but Emma, what are you complaining about? Chelsea is still winning the games. But there isn't one performance that I've saw of recent that's been convincing. Even the game against Nottingham Forest yesterday wasn't convincing enough. Like, me and Dad were watching the Crystal Palace game on TV, because obviously I've been at uni, so we haven't really watched many games together recently. And it wasn't a convincing win, was it?
Not at all, no. No, I think what's happening is, I think he's a new manager, it's his first season, and I think we've expected too much because of the good start we got, and it just hasn't panned.
Well, gave us false hope.
Yeah, I think so, and we just thought, well, this is how it was going to be. But you come to these points in the season, we've still got a ring to play for, and we're still having a pretty good season. I mean, at the start of the season, if you'd asked most people, they would have said, well, top 4 finish and a cup perhaps, and we're still on target for all that. So there's nothing, there's no reason to panic at the moment. But I think as soon as things start to go wrong, there's rumblings, and then there's discontent, and then the players start perhaps putting posts out, these sort of things, and it just causes a lot of unsettled sort of times at the club.
And yeah, and like, for example, against Watford again, like, these games, there haven't been convincing wins, so you do feel unsettled going into every game at the moment as a Chelsea fan, because they've been very unconvincing performances of recent. Yeah, we've been scraping by, we've been getting the 3 points, job done. But you can't really stand there and say, oh, yeah, it's been a really good game of football. And I don't want to sound like really disheartened or put a crap mood on everything. But I suppose it maybe was false hope at the start of the season when we were going to teams like Burnley and stuff. As soon as we came up against tests like Wolves and Tottenham, that's when we crumbled. And do you think at the start of the season it was false hope? Do you think... it's hard to say it because it makes it as if I'm being disrespectful to these smaller sides like Burnley, but does it show how good we were or how bad the opposition was?
The team didn't change much in personnel. The players are pretty similar. New manager comes in, they're all sort of playing to impress a new manager, and it all goes well for so long. But it's when you get to points like this where you've got to prove, you know, what the future is. There's a lot of talk about Hazard leaving, which it might happen, it might not, but we can't just rely on that. We've got to have a plan B, and I think that's also represented a lot of the games. There isn't a plan B, things are going wrong. We get to about 80 minutes, there isn't really a plan B, and that's where we tend to struggle in a lot of the matches, and that's where the results have probably gone against us. We haven't closed games down enough. Same old story, we're lacking a striker who's going to score 30 goals a season. We just don't seem to get them now. We had Drogba, obviously, the legend at the club. Then Costa came in. He was hot and cold, but generally he was doing the job. But then we went on to Morata and Giroud, and things, they're not panning out. So there's lots of ifs and buts, but there isn't a lot wrong. And I think you've just got to stick by them this season and see where we go from here. Hopefully they'll get some money to strengthening the January transfer window. We just don't know yet, and we'll just have to keep going forward. So
one thing for sure that's been frustrating me at the moment, and you won't know this, Dad has got Twitter, but he doesn't really use it, and I suppose all the discussions go on about football a lot on there. You won't have seen this, but I've started seeing a lot of comments creeping on, saying stuff like Sarri needs to go, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I remember doing a video, the last video I did with Dad, it was all about Conte and stuff, and like a lot of fans jumped on my back at the time that Conte got sacked as to how I reacted to that. A lot of fans said, Emma, you're absolutely delusional, not wanting Conte to go is the best thing for the side, etc, etc. And yeah, I was frustrated about the man himself going, but it's more the fans' attitude that annoyed me and frustrated me, and also the club's attitude. I hate how people just think the automatic thing to do as soon as something's going wrong is to just sack someone off. You don't do that, you've got to stick with it and see how it plans out. Yeah, in football that is done because you can't waste time and money. and obviously people did say if Conte had stayed, Hazard wouldn't have stayed, so there's all that debate. But I hate how some fans react and say sack the manager, because it's just Chelsea do that far too often, sacking the manager. That's not the problem, it's just generally we need to stick it out and see what happens. Because for example, if these games in the next couple of months go terribly wrong and we lose them all, obviously that won't happen, well I hope it doesn't, and then we lose them all, if we were to sack Sarri, it's just same old story, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, look at Manchester United. Look what's happened there. You know, they've got rid of the manager, obviously, and now they haven't been beaten. They've gone unbeaten. So was it the manager? Was it the players? We're back to that same thing, and the same thing was happening at Chelsea. Team hasn't changed much. Managers changed, but the teams doesn't change much. So you've got to start looking at the players, I think, really. But at the end of the day, the manager loses his job. So
yeah. And one last thing as well, we'll just touch on strikers. So obviously, this again, it's really controversial. Obviously, it's a full team. There's 11 players on the pitch for Chelsea, and obviously squad rotation comes in. Everyone has their contribution and part to play, but I do think what's let us down a lot this season is the striker situation. And I don't want to be controversial because it's not all Morata's fault. Obviously, it's not. There's 11 players on the pitch to contribute to a final result of a game. But if you don't have a reliable striker, where's the hope? And I said this in a preview the other day. I said my frustrations are slowly rising with Morata because the players put so much in. For example, Hazard against Crystal Palace. Morata missed a clear chance. We were 80 minutes in and we were 1-0 up, and Crystal Palace could have easily got an equaliser. And Dad said if Crystal Palace had got an equaliser, it would have, everyone's tensions would have risen with Morata because he had a clear-cut chance. There was something on the telly yesterday when the ball went straight over the net with Morata. He scored 2 goals yesterday. Great confidence boost. But it was Nottingham Forest. It was the cup, and he should be scoring them goals. But moving forwards, again, it's just a striker situation, and who we're going to bring in that's going to be reliable enough. And I suppose it's always been the same issue since I've been supporting Chelsea, since around 2009. I mean, yeah, Didier Drogba, amazing, like we've got so many legends, but we've always had issues with strikers. Like, for example, Anelka. I was supporting Chelsea when Anelka was there. We've obviously had Falcao. There's been so many blips with strikers. We've never just got it right. So that's something that really, really concerns me for the future and what we're actually going to do about that, because I was so excited when Morata come. He did actually plan out for him at the start, but now it's just an absolute joke. And people say, like, oh, you shouldn't hate on a player, and I never do. I'm not one of them people. But with Morata, I get so angry, and I do hate on him for his football because I know the potential's there. It's not that I hate him on a personal level because he seems like a lovely lad, don't get me wrong, but his football is just infuriating.
Yeah, and I don't think we'll address that. I don't think that's going to go away, that problem. There just isn't the strikers out there now.
Like, can you, for example, see Morata come really good shortly and get loads of goals? Is it actually going to happen?
Probably won't, but it's the minute we sell him, he goes somewhere else. He could be a hit. You just don't know. That's
what happens, isn't it? Mo Salah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's happened all the time with Chelsea.
Mata. Mata.
Yeah, so
Matic, sorry.
I think we've just got to galvanise, as I said. We've just got to keep going forward. Hopefully get a cup, and top 4. Well, that's going to be tough because obviously you've got City and Liverpool, you imagine, are going to be fighting out for the champions. And then you've obviously got Tottenham and Arsenal and then Chelsea. Well, obviously 5 doesn't go into 4, so someone's going to lose out possibly, but Chelsea could go and win the Europa League, and then that obviously probably gets you back into the Champions League. So, and without the Champions League, they're going to be less attractive to top strikers coming in. And obviously, getting back to Hazard, he probably will stay if Chelsea have got the chance of Champions League, because that's the one thing he hasn't won yet, and he wants to win. I should think that's more than anything else, and he's obviously wanted to go back to his club that he's always dreamed of playing for. So we'll just have to see. So
final question. Obviously it's a prediction, and so it's what it is. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It doesn't matter. It's obviously hard to judge at the moment, but it's always fun to make a prediction. So, do you think Chelsea will finish in the top 4? Yes or no?
100%. Yeah, you just got to be behind them. Why not? Yeah, why not?
I would say I can see it. Yeah. So 2 yeses from me and Dad. Also, I just thought of this in my head right now. So why not? Who do you think's going to win the league? One answer.
City.
I'm going to say Liverpool. So.
No, I think City. I think what happened the other night, I'd have been saying it, and I just think I can just see Liverpool having a blip somewhere along the line, and they're still got to play us again, so who knows.
Okay. Alright, okay. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know down below all your thoughts and opinions on what me and Dad have discussed. What's your thoughts? Who do you think's going to win the league? Do you think Chelsea's going to finish in the top 4? And what's your season's thoughts so far? Like, where do you think it went wrong for us, or do you think things are going to get better? Let me know. Also, guys, don't forget to follow Dad on Instagram. I'll leave a link down below and like his Instagram name on the screen. And yeah, and thank you so much for coming on, Dad. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you're new to my channel, and up the Chels. Thanks. This isn't good for my...
Right, come on.